Alright, what's going on, everybody? And finally, we got Misfits 22's full card released. It took them a while. They announced the main event and the co-main event. It took them a bit to announce the rest of the fights, but it's all finally out now. So in this video, I'll be talking about all the fights on the card and giving my reaction to the matchups. But real quick, before I get into the video, 95% of you guys aren't subscribed to like Misfits Boxing, Pro Boxing, or UFC content. Why aren't you subscribed, to be honest with you? Because I post 2 to 4 times a week on this channel at least. So make sure you guys subscribe. I appreciate you. Alright, we're going guru format for these videos. So if you guys like or dislike the editing style, please let me know. But it makes me fairly easy for me since we're just announcing or just giving my simple reaction to these fights. So first fight I want to talk about is Chase Demore versus Nathan Marson. Now, I didn't know much about Marson before I looked into him, but he went 0-2 in his MMA career. Then he went on to go 4-3 in kickboxing / boxing fights, which were like exhibitionist fights. I think he's like Polish or something like that. He's definitely European, but I'm assuming he's about the same level as Tank Tolman, which Chase just knocked out in his last fight, which was honestly Chase Demore's best performance. He's looking like he's improving with Coach Gary. He's moving his feet a lot better. He's throwing his right hand way more fluently. I said it before in the last fight. After Chase got knocked down, he stopped doing the whole flinchy, move his head back and put his chin in the air thing. I think Chase is more used to getting hit. Maybe that's the case in the early part of this fight too. Maybe he's just like that till he gets hit. Then he realizes, oh, I can take shots. I was like, no, getting knocked down isn't that bad. So, Chase, if he could take punches better and he could really stick in the pocket and throw and dedicate to throwing shots, he's going to be even more dangerous if he's more confident in his chin earlier in the fight. So, I find this fight interesting. Marson is built like a brick house and he fights like a 2. He's very stiff, but so is Chase. So, it's just going to be 2 big dudes brawling. Hopefully it's not like the Kells or Big Topes fight where it was very sloppy. They got tired and nobody was even able to land punches. Hopefully it's a brawl. And I'm sure Chase is going to smoke him. So I probably imagine a first round knockout for Chase. But it's not the prediction video yet. Let me not get ahead of myself. Alright, next fight. Carla Jade versus Darren Harris. Now, Carla Jade is probably one of the best heels that Misfits got right now. People do not rock with her right now in the Misfits scene. But I do. I think that she plays the heel very well. The reason why people don't really like her is because she's had some decisions that people haven't agreed with. And her attitude on the mic after about the decision and people booing and stuff like that. She plays into it. So I respect that for Carla Jade. And I think she's actually very skilled. And Darren Harris, I didn't know much about her either. And then I looked into her. She fought on CFL, which is like a small creator boxing, influencer boxing show. And she won, but it wasn't very impressive, to be honest with you. She's very plotty. She just walks forward and throws in high volume, to be fair. She seems game and she throws and all that, and she puts pressure on her opponents. But Carla Jade is very skilled and very long for the division for a women's fighter, and she is able to move well. She'll work her jab and might be able to outclass Darren Harris very, very easily in this fight, in my opinion. There isn't a lot of women's fighters in Misfits right now, so it's a little tough. They're still building the roster. It's still kind of hard to find people for Carla Jade unless it's like Julie Polka, but nobody's touching Julie Polka in Misfits. My wife, is it either one day she's gonna hate me or love me for how much I've talked about her on this channel. But Carla Jade is very skilled, and I think she will easily beat Darren Harris. But maybe Darren Harris will put in pain in this camp and end up working. But the thing is with Carla Jade, people hate her, but behind the scenes, seems like everybody likes her. So she actually seems very nice and actually very funny from what I've seen from her. So people need to show on Carla Jade, but I like how she plays the heel though. But Carla Jade should easily win. This isn't a very fair matchup, but I'm glad to see Carla Jade back at least. They got to get her feet going. Next fight, and to be honest, I'm really enjoying the anticipation and build of this fight. This feels like OG influencer boxing, and they're actually taking the training seriously. It's Joey Essex versus Numerio, I think. Is a Portuguese fighter or influencer. We don't have a lot of people representing Portugal in the ring or octagon. Even though this influencer boxing, I'm definitely going to be rooting for him all the way. And I really like the confidence and energy that he's bringing. He's fought before Numerio. He's fought before. He lost. his corner stopped it in between rounds in round 6. I noticed that he was able to move around very well, but when it came to like throwing and taking punches, not so much, which makes sense for his first fight. It's definitely fixable the more he's used to getting hit and hitting people. He just didn't seem that fluent taking and throwing punches, but moving his feet, I was very impressed for his first fight and how long he's been training. But apparently Joey Essex has been training like consistently for a while, and he's a big deal in the UK. I don't really know for what. I think he's known on like TV and stuff like that. So he's a big name in the UK. And Numerio is a big name in Portugal. So this is a big fight. This is a very big OG feeling influencer fight. And I spoke on this before where some of these fights where it's it's not debuting for Numerio, but two inexperienced influencers. I like it if they train and take it seriously. That's why I don't really like a Afghan Dan versus Lil T or a Wakey Wines versus Modine. I hate those kind of fights. But this one, you can tell that they're actually training and taking it seriously. They're talking real crap, not no silly bull crap. They're actually putting stuff on the line. Look at that earthquake. What is going on? But yeah, it seems like they're actually taking this seriously. And I feel like that makes a huge difference when it comes to the quality of early influencer boxer fights. And we really don't know how it's going to go because we haven't seen Joey Essex fight. So that's another exciting thing about this. There's a lot on the line and we really don't know much about him. So it's a nightmare for like a prediction video. I'm probably going to have to break down sparring footage of them hitting a bag to predict an actual fight. But that's influencer boxing, baby. We're back. Next fight, Amadeus Ferrari versus Raheem Pardesi. Now, I've been calling to the freaking gods for them to bring Amadeus Ferrari back. So I'm very, very glad that they did that. He is hilarious. He's great in press conferences. He's very reckless, but when he fights, he's very entertaining. Him versus Salt Poppy was very fun while it lasted. It really tested Salt Poppy's grit. And Raheem Pardesi, or Pardesi, however you pronounce it, he fought another celebrity and won. That's all he really had, though, was a celebrity boxing match. And actually, he has some skills. He was able to stick his jab and move pretty well for the amount of experience he had. But sticking your jab and moving versus Amadeus Ferrari, I don't know if that's a good strategy. This is one of those things. Pardesi, gosh, I respect him for taking this fight because Ferrari's just going to come at him reckless. And is he going to be prepared for that type of fight? I don't know, man. Because his first fight was very technical, like you go, I go, like jab, move, jab. They weren't really scrapping as much. And Ferrari, all he does is scrap. All he does is throw. Maybe he's getting technically better at boxing. I will say if he's able to mix technical boxing with his blitzing at an influencer level, he is going to be very dangerous. I don't know if this is somehow going to be an MMA fight. I know that Dylan versus Warren Spencer is going to be an MMA fight. We're going to talk about that fight in a bit. But Ferrari is an MMA fighter, so maybe, but I don't think so. They would have said it by now, I would think. But yeah, this is a bad matchup for Raheem Pardesi, or Pardesi. I don't know, I probably said it wrong both times. But yeah, not a very good matchup for him. But respect for him for accepting the fight. And if he shows up, respect. There's background noise. I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do about it at this point. Next fight I want to talk about is Ty Mitchell versus Sean Hemphill. Now, Hemphill is 32-11. And on BoxRec, Ty Mitchell is only credited at 4-2. So this is a big, big step up for Ty Mitchell. He just destroyed Idris Virgo, which is a great performance for him to dominate. If it was a close fight, that would be one thing. But he absolutely dominated Idris Virgo. And Hemphill has fought William Skull and lost. So, William Skull just fought Canelo not too long ago. So, it's a huge step up in competition for Ty Mitchell. So, I'm very, very intrigued on how this is going to go. We know Ty Mitchell isn't the most technical, but he has some power. He's very lengthy for the weight class. And, like I said, the way that he throws punches... Hi, Dallas. There is so many ways for him to get caught, but... he has fast hands, and even though it's sloppy punching, he seems to land very accurately. He's a sparring partner for Tyson Fury, so he's going to have some skill. Talking about Ty Mitchell, of course. I don't know who Sean Hemphill's sparring partners are, but I'm very interested in this matchup. I like when they have some pro fights in the card. This is for a pro belt, So I'm very excited to see how this one goes. All right, now this one is interesting for a lot of different reasons. So the first Misfits MMA fight on a boxing card in a boxing ring, Pride MMA style, is Dillon Danis versus Warren Spencer. Now, I'm glad that they're implementing Misfits MMA, and I'm also glad that Dillon Danis is like their guy for Misfits MMA. I feel like that's a good fit. I really do think that's a great fit, especially if they have legitimate MMA fighters, because Warren Spencer is an influencer boxer. So what are we doing? Here's the one thing with this matchup. Why is this not Anthony Taylor? Maybe they have a fight for him lined up, but I have no clue in the world. And I love Warren, by the way. I love Warren Spencer. He's very entertaining. He's just not an MMA fighter, and he doesn't have jiu-jitsu experience. He's going to get smoked on the ground in the first round. Unless he somehow knocks out Dillon. I don't think Dillon's going to be playing on the feet whatsoever. As soon as he gets an entry, he's going to take it. And it's going to be as simple as, like, the first round. I'm sorry, Warren, if you're watching this. I'm sure you know. Or obviously you're going to go in to win. But jiu-jitsu is not going to be your strongest suit, especially against Dillon. And AT wouldn't have been great at it either, but he at least has more MMA experience. He was an MMA fighter before a boxer. It would have been a good name matchup. I have no clue why this isn't Dillon Danis versus Anthony Taylor. I'm sorry if it seems like I'm bitching Warren, but I hope you win. But I don't see a path to victory for him. Danis is a world-class jiu-jitsu practitioner. He's going to grab his ankle or grab his toe. He might make him tap from a toe lock. Like, Danis knows every way to submit you, and Warren Spencer knows to throw hands. Well, definitely better than Dillon Danis. If it was a boxing fight, Warren would smoke him, but it's not. So Danis is definitely going to finish him in MMA. I'm glad that this is the introduction for it. Danis versus AT would be better for it, but I'm glad that they're getting out there, giving it a shot. I don't mind that it's in a ring. I feel like that's different. Again, it's like Pride back in the day, so I don't mind it. So, yeah, this isn't going to be a fair fight, but it will definitely be a good way for them to dip their toes in the water with this whole MMA thing. Oh, man. All right, the co-main event, Salt Poppy versus Tony Ferguson. Oh, man, Tony. Now, let me get things straight. First of all, the first thing I want to say, I am ecstatic for Salt Poppy. There's so many people talking about this fight. There's going to be so many people, MMA fans, all that, people that know Tony Ferguson are going to be watching this fight. They're making fun of Salt because he used to make silly videos. Well, he still makes funny videos, but he used to make, like, he was chubby, like, eating food, like, sprinkling fake salt on stuff and all that. Obviously, where he started with the fake running and stuff like that, making edits like this guy is facing Tony Ferguson. But Salt Poppy has real skill. He has some legitimate skill for an influencer, and I am very glad that he's going to shut a lot of people up by beating Tony Ferguson. And here's the other thing. Fuck, I feel bad for Tony, man, because he's so aggravated with everybody calling him washed. But, man, Tony, we're struggling in the UFC, man, and now you're going into boxing where your hand speed was definitely falling off. Your speed in general has been falling off. I hate to count you out, Tony, but Salt Poppy's legit. We see these influencer boxers face MMA fighters, and boxing experience is everything. If you're not experienced with boxing, you're not experienced with boxing. So Salt Poppy's going to smoke Tony Ferguson. But I hope he does it in a way where he really showcases how good he is. I hope it's not like a very ugly fight or something like that. I would love if Tony would able to turn it up or turn back the clock, and this is a good fight. Salt Poppy versus Prime Tony Ferguson would be very interesting. But it's not Prime Tony Ferguson. So, yeah, Salt Poppy is going to smoke Tony Ferguson. I just hope it's a scrap, at least for the most part, and Tony makes it. At least there's something in front of Salt Poppy, and Salt Poppy sets up a very good shot. He shows how technical he is. One of those. I just really hope the Salt comes out of this not like, oh, he just knocked out some old guy in 30 seconds. What a big deal. I hope he can really showcase and put on like a very clean TKO or knockout, like a very clean shot, which he's very good. He's a sniper with that straight left hand. So I just hope it's an impressive performance for Salt Poppy. I'm happy for him for getting this matchup, 100%. All right, now for the main event, Darren Till versus Luke Rockhold. Now, I called this one. I wanted to be out here that I called this one. Let's replay the clip of Mystic Royalty calling this. Now, based on the context that they give me, what I think for the main event of this card is Darren Till versus Luke Rockhold now. And that's the reason why you should like, comment, subscribe, and turn on notifications, but that's besides the point. Luke Rockhold versus Darren Till. Now, this is fucking sick. This would have been a dream matchup in the UFC. They both throw hands for the most part anyways. Obviously, Luke Rockhold was more so known for his taekwondo and his kicks. But he has very long reach, and people sleep on his straight lefts. Straight left, because he has some stinging power. He was able to sting Mike Perry in the bare knuckle fight. He's very long, like I said before. Darren is too, but I would imagine that Luke is a bit longer than Darren. So I think this is going to be a very good fight. I think it should be a scrap. I think Darren Till is going to win. I know I'm spoiling a lot of my picks, but maybe some of them will change by the time I make my prediction video. But Darren's been boxing for like 2 years now. Luke has been all over the place, training different stuff. Dyeing his hair blonde is never a good sign as a 40-year-old man. I feel like if you get your hair dyed blonde at 40, it's guaranteed that you're going to get knocked out in your next fight. And I think that might be what happens, to be honest with you. Darren Till got some serious power and some serious ability at this point. He takes shots in the chin in boxing like it's nothing. He only really got knocked out by Masvidal badly, but that was in 4-ounce gloves. Yeah, Darren Till is going to be a way more technically sound than Luke. I think Rockhold's going to bring the fight, and it's going to be good for a good maybe 3 rounds, but I think after that, Darren's going to take over and win. I think it could be an early stoppage, but I don't really know. But those are my thoughts of Misfits 22. I love what they're doing with this card. It has some elements of OG influencer boxing. It's showing how Misfits is evolving and influencer boxing evolving in general. We know brand risk is involving influencer boxing. They're devolving it, but luckily, Misfits is innovating and actually doing interesting stuff with their products. So I'm very glad with it. I'm glad the influencer boxer isn't dying. I'm glad that it's on its way back. And some people are still saying, well, it's still dead. Oh, it's still dead. I don't really care. It's going to be a great event. We have a lot of people, the MMA fan base, everything paying attention. This is a perfect event for a little bit of distance in between 21 and 22. It wasn't that long, but the announcement took longer than usual. They definitely would rather get the announcements out earlier because of the hype of every single matchup can be drawn out. But besides that, I don't have any critiques for this card. If they had to take the time for this card, and this is going to be the quality of the cards every time they do that, I'm willing to wait because this is going to be a great pay-per-view. And I'm very excited for it. Let me know if you guys agree down below. And that's all I really have to say about it. If you disagree, if you think the card is trash, you think influencer boxing is dead, let me know in the comments down below. But thank you guys for listening to me yap like usual. God bless every single one of you. Obviously, our prediction video is going to come out when it's the week of the event. And peace out.
Close to 60K views in my first year on YouTube. Thanks for giving me pointers when I asked in chat. Roy, you're very welcome, man. Congratulations. Dog, it took me fucking 4 years. 5 years to hit 60K, dog. That's awesome.
I think regular show and stuff.
What's your favorite song?
Oh, and I can't explain that. I love music.
You love all kinds of music?
Yes, but except for hip hop. Well,
You don't like hip hop?
and no, not too much.
I've been rapping, I'll be practicing, I'm hopping on top of the game. I'm spitting the fire, my phone, the light, months they call me Kane. Get people say talking about I'm a walkers, I do not fuck with lames. People say hating, I'm lyrical saying, cause Mo's igniting the flames.
Sign that bill. The pressure give you lecture when you sign that deal. World stand still. The devil offers something where you take that skill. Shit get real. And the pussy dropping. Going in like Batman. I don't need a shorty came right over and she backed up. Now we moving cause I'm fucking ways in the bathtub. Crazy how the fucking only started with a back rub. Now we in the city fucking dancing in the sack love. You steady fucking switching, stay up in your fucking lane. And shorty super soaker, I can hit your ass for range. Shorty doing ass and you knowin' where it's going. Steady sipping codeine, yeah you knowin' in my potion.